Hey guys, coming another movie for guys. Now this movie reviewing, this was not a movie that I was looking forward to at all, and I think you guys can pretty much figure out why. As you guys know, pretty much since I'd say 2015, Adam Sandler has been putting out all of his Happy Madison films that we all love so much on Netflix because Sony actually had the willpower to stop making them because they actually realized they were doing something shitty. For once, they actually somehow got a brain and realized that these films are absolute garbage and that no one's watching them. I don't know how Sony hasn't woken up more, but that's probably one of the best decisions they've made because all these films have gone to Netflix and no one's really watched them. And I reviewed The Ridiculous Six when it first came out. I didn't hate that movie. I found a couple fun gags in there. I thought the characters were okay. I really did not hate it. Is it a good movie? No, but it was fun when I watched it. Nothing really I could ever see myself watching again, but if I watched like bits and pieces, I could definitely see that. Then he did The Do-Over, which I intentionally skipped last year until a couple days ago where my friend, 20 Tiger, aka Tony Estrada, he had not seen it and he was watching all the Netflix Adam Sandler movies, so I'm like, alright, fine, man, my word, I'm gonna finish it. And I wasn't really paying attention to it for personal reasons that I will not divulge into in this review. But from what I saw of the movie, it was very boring, it was just very unfunny, and it really just seemed like typical Adam Sandler fanfare that at this point everyone's just kind of sick and tired of. So you can understandably, I was not looking forward to Sandy Wexler because of that. I did not think this movie was going to be that great, but to my surprise, I actually really enjoyed Sandy Wexler. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Sandy Wexler, in my opinion, is the best Adam Sandler film he has made since Click. I really did enjoy Sandy Wexler overall. I think it's actually a very entertaining film that actually does have some very memorable characters and some very clever things to say about Hollywood and also some really good heart in there. And I was honestly just really surprised by the way it turned out. But let's get to the plot of Sandy Wexler because the plot of this movie is actually very interesting. We focus on Sandy Wexler. He was a talent manager in the 1990s and, well, fictitious like talent manager, i.e. any sort of talent manager that you can think of. And he didn't really have many friends because he was very eccentric and he represented all kinds of different talents and things like that. Like one of them is a wrestler, one of them is a ventriloquist, and the other one is a singer. And his latest talent, Courtney Clark, he actually does start to take an interest in. She's a very talented singer, and he quickly does start to fall in love with her. And the film kind of chronicles over 3 or 4 years of their relationship, the highs and the lows of their relationship, and where it ends up going, and how Sandy is able to boost his career through her. And that basically is the plot of Sandy Wexler overall. But let's just get in this movie starting off with the cast. Because here's the thing, I mean, the cast in this movie, you wouldn't expect them all to be good because it is the same exact crew for most of his movies. Well, aside from one other actor, which we'll get into in a second, but it is pretty much the same crew from his other films. The difference is they actually have really good stuff to do here. And let's talk about Adam Sandler because unlike the rest of the world, I don't hate Adam Sandler. I think he's actually very fun. There was a time when I think he was making some really fun comedies. I mean, some of his early stuff are some of my favorite comedies. Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, love that stuff. I mean, those films are great. Big Daddy, all kinds of films like that. I love those early Adam Sandler stuff. Like I said, Click, that was really my last Adam Sandler film that I absolutely loved. But finally, he has a role here where I actually felt like he did a really good job in because his other films have been quite disposable, and this role as Sandy Wexler, he actually seemed like he really got into. And I know a lot of people are talking about his voice, and yeah, at first glance, it is kind of annoying, but as the film goes on, I really started to get used to it, and it really didn't bother me that much, and honestly, I think he's had much more annoying voices. This isn't something like Little Nicky or Jack and Jill or something like that. This voice actually is tolerable, and he isn't complete buffoon in this movie. He actually is kind of smart. You're honestly kind of rooting for Sandy Wexler throughout here. He definitely has his quirky stuff, like he has this laugh that he has and things like that, but as a whole, I actually really liked his character. I thought he did a really good job here. He had a lot of really fun stuff going on. It kind of seemed like he was trying to like emote Woody Allen or something like that. Like a lot of stuff reminded me of Woody Allen or some sort of old type old type of actor from that era. It just kind of felt like that to me. Some sort of middle-aged, just some sort of middle-aged comedian. I thought he definitely was trying to put a lot. I don't know if that was the intent, but I definitely got that from him, and he definitely was really great. I really love what Adam Sandler had to do here. I'm surprised I'm saying it, but he actually really did a good job. I think he definitely seemed like he was having a lot of fun, and his his dedication to this role really is thoroughly enthused throughout, and that's one of the main reasons why this movie turns out as good as it does. Now let's talk about Jennifer Hudson, because that was the one thing that I actually kind of did have hope with. You guys know I love Jennifer Hudson. I've really never seen her give a bad performance. She was the best thing about Hairspray Live in every sense of the word. She was incredible in that. Just one of the best, maybe the best voice talent working today. I mean, she is just absolutely incredible. And she was great in this movie. I actually really liked her character of Courtney Clark. This is someone who is a very talented singer and does become very famous, but doesn't ever become too cocky or too intolerable. She actually does have big dreams, and their relationship you actually really are kind of rooting for. And I was surprised at what they do, but they actually have some serious scenes between them, and they're actually very well handled. It's because of how great Sandler and Hudson's chemistry really were. They worked very well together. You could tell they had a real natural feel to them, and I really, like I said, was rooting for them throughout most of this movie. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but they both worked very well together, and their chemistry was very well done. And then the rest of the supporting cast here is also really great. And I can't believe I'm saying it, but Kevin James, Terry Crews, Rob Schneider, and especially Nick Swardson all really give great performances here. I can't believe I'm saying it either, but they really were all great. I've never really liked Kevin James that much. Terry Crews has kind of always been sort of like a wannabe actor to me. Rob Schneider's kind of like 50-50, but Nick Swardson especially. I loved his character in this movie, and if you guys don't like Nick Swardson, he really doesn't have a ton of dialogue. A lot of this movie, he's just the stuntman doing all these crazy things, and it was actually really funny, the direction they took his character, and I thought he was definitely very fun to watch. Definitely one of the highlights of the entire film, and again, because of how great the cast was, it made the film a lot more enjoyable since the actors were into these roles and got to have a lot of fun stuff to do, and that's one of the reasons why this movie turns out as good as it does. So the acting, like I said, is definitely very good. Let's get to the directing here by Stephen Brill, because I was actually very impressed with the way this was done. First of all, this is from the same director of The Do-Over and Movie 43, and holy shit, what an improvement this was. I mean, it's like night and day with this movie, honestly. It is night and day in every way. This is this guy who did Little Nicky, he gave us Mr. Deeds, and this is probably his least over-the-top film. In fact, this movie really is not that over-the-top. He actually directed it in a very restrained sort of manner, but not restrained in the way where it seemed like these actors were holding back. He did it in a way where it felt believable. Like, these actually could be characters that were around in the 90s, and that these actually could have been actors. And yeah, some of it is a little bit ridiculous, but he did a really good job with that directing, and he kept it very simple, and I like that he kept it simple. He didn't try to make it too over the top. There's not a lot of gross out stuff in here, and the humor as well is definitely different than your typical Adam Sandler film. It's not a bunch of like dick jokes and boob jokes and things like that. It's a lot more about social commentary of Hollywood and how people act and how people just how this talent manager will just laugh at anything and just please people so he can get them on his good side and things like that. That stuff was honestly very fascinating to me, and I think the directing again was very well done here. I think he did a very good job with the tone. It's a very fun film, and I thought, like I said, his directing was definitely really good. And the writing as well, I definitely really did enjoy. I thought the writing that Adam Sandler did write a lot of this, and it didn't feel like the same type of Adam Sandler humor. It seemed like he was trying to do something different. Like he was really trying to say something about this film, about what old Hollywood does to people. And I don't really know what exactly he was trying to say. I will definitely say that. Whatever he was trying to say wasn't exactly communicated as well as it could have been. But the writing was very well done because the jokes were actually very funny. And I was definitely laughing at most of the jokes throughout the film. I thought they were actually a lot of fun to watch. There's some really great gags throughout here, especially stuff that Sandy Wexler would say or things like that. Just the situations he gets himself into are just a lot of fun to watch. And yeah, the movie does definitely have its over-the-top moments, but it's not a gag after gag film. In fact, it's much more focused on the story than I really thought it would be, but it actually does really take its time, and that's something I thought the writing really did benefit from. It also has another whole thing going on with a sort of documentary-esque feel where you have people who worked with Sandy Wexler commentating on their opinion of him, and at first I found to be very jarring. It takes you out of the film very quickly. The first like 15 or so minutes are very, very badly edited, and it's very weirdly just going from from the past back to the present. It feels very weird the way they're intercutting back and forth between those two. But eventually the film does find a good groove there, and I thought once they did find that happy medium, they actually worked very well, and I really did like the way that they would cut back and forth, and these celebrity cameos didn't feel like, oh, we're just randomly going to show Conan O'Brien, we're just randomly going to show Jimmy Kimmel. It felt like they actually had a reason to be there, and yeah, they would know Sandy Wexler because of all the talent he's worked with. Definitely they'd know Sandy Wexler, and it made sense why they were in this film, and again, I shouldn't be saying it worked, but it actually really did, and there were some jokes here that were just absolutely hilarious. I really did love that, and I thought that was also very well handled. And the cinematography is actually great here. Like, I really felt like we were in the 1990s. There was nothing superficial about it. There was nothing that felt like they were trying to show you this fake version. No, it actually felt like this was the 1990s, and I thought that was something that was very well done. To my knowledge, Adam Sandler has not really done a period piece besides The Wedding Singer, and The Wedding Singer is one of his best films because of, again, that feels like the 80s. Well, this is very much like that. It feels like the 90s, and it does everything it can to make you feel that way, and that's something I thought that it did very well. Similar to how The Wedding Singer did that, I really did love the way that was handled here. The score here as well is also really great. Jennifer Hudson actually does get to sing here, and I was very happy about that. You know, any movie you have Jennifer Hudson, you cannot waste her musical talents, and I'm very happy that they didn't. She has some great songs here. Some stuff that you'll be probably humming in your head after you watch it. I've been humming a few of her songs, definitely, so I thought the score was definitely very well done. My main complaints with Sandy Wexler, like I said, is that it took a while to get going. It really did. The first 15 or so minutes, I really didn't know what I was in for. I was like, oh no, not this stuff again. Just, it was very weirdly edited and things like that. It's really not till Courtney comes into the picture, that's really when the movie started to get good. Once we got introduced to Jennifer Hudson's character, then I thought the movie actually got really good. Then I thought it actually found its groove, and I thought from there, the movie actually did stay consistent. I was surprised, but it really did. And yes, it is definitely a bit too long. I do think that the movie, for the most part, went by fast until around maybe the last 20 minutes. The last 20 minutes, I really was starting to feel the length, and I was really like, all right, can we just wrap this up already? We get it. There are some scenes that drag on and on. Nothing feels boring. It just feels like they could have cut down a few scenes here and there. Like, I get why Adam Sandler wanted to make this long because he's telling a story over quite a few years, so it's not really easy to do that in 90 minutes. I felt like you had a reason to make it the length that you did, but I do think that they could have easily cut it down just a tad, and I think it would have made the movie a little bit better. But other than that, guys, Sandy Wexler is definitely Adam Sandler's best film he has made in so long. I really did enjoy this film overall. I honestly would watch it again, and I would honestly recommend it to you guys, and surprisingly, I am going to give Sandy Wexler a 4 out of 5 or a B+. I'm shocked too, but this really is his comeback film. It's a lot more smart. It actually has a lot to say about the business in Hollywood and how things work out for people, and you know how certain talent managers recruit certain acts and things like that. It's actually it feels real. It feels like it takes place in the 1990s, and it's different than anything Adam Sandler has done in the past 10 years. I hope it's the movie that really does put him back on the map, and surprisingly it was everything that it really did feel like that classic Adam Sandler from the 90s that we haven't had in so long. So overall, guys, my review is Sandy Wexler. Know what you guys thought of this movie over you have seen it. I honestly would recommend you guys check out this movie. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it honestly really did surprise me. I wasn't expecting much from it either. Trust me, I really expected to be just a regular Adam Sandler film. What I got was something a lot better than that I never could have expected, but it was so much better than I thought it was going to be. But that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for the season premiere of Doctor Who, which I am so ready for. It's been over 2 years, and I'm ready for some more Doctor Who, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.